Up next, wow, what a person. Wow, what a person. Okay, everyone is shocked. It's really tough to make sense of everything. This is a Hollywood tragedy. He is watching over her animal. Yes, Gene Hackman's last days spent alone. Up straight. What did really happen in his house? Not being able to ask for help at all. It's really sad. It's coming up next in Hollywood. Gene Hackman was a giant and a great character. He wowed viewers by appearing in 80 movies. Gene knew when to stop working, though. Because he was sick, he and his wife Betsy went to New Mexico 20 years ago to live a quieter and more private life. In the usual Hackman way, he disappeared without a fuss. So it was until 2 months ago when he and Betsy were found dead in their home in a strange way. The terrible things that happened in the last few weeks of Gene's life are heartbreaking. His story is one of the most important ones this hero has ever told, but he'll never know it. He's already the dog here. Yes. The scene was both sad and interesting. When cops went to the Santa Fe, New Mexico home of star Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy, they were confused at first by what they saw. When was the last time they heard from her, as this new video from the sheriff's office shows? The first body they found was Betsy's, 65 years old, lying on the floor of a bathroom. Her 95-year-old husband was nowhere to be seen. Where is he? His name is... I don't know how to get there from here. When the cops went into the main part of the house, everything looked like it was in order. It was clean and mostly intact. All of these doors were open until Gene's body was found near the front door. Tuda, go to sleep. Oh, okay. Come up, one dog is dead. Okay, everyone is shocked. It's really awful. It is hard to make the connection between two people who are so polite, respectful, and kind. I can't make it work right now. Doug Lamb and Tom Allen, who were close friends of Gene and Betsy, heard the sad news all of a sudden. How did you learn about this terrible event? The news stories. When I got up, I saw that Gene Hackman had died, which wasn't a surprise since he was 95 years old. It was sad to hear that she had died. I couldn't believe it had really happened. The Hackman deaths, which were found on February 26, have upset more than just their family and close friends. The world was shocked by the lonely death of this famous actor and his beautiful, successful wife, Betsy. A thrilling and mysterious ending like any of Hackman's movie parts. Someone in the deputies group said it was weird that Gene and Betsy Arakawa Hackman both looked like they had fallen. It's possible that no one in Hollywood would have thought of or written this finish for this pair. No, this is not the finish that anyone thought Gene Hackman's life would have. According to Variety film writer Peter de Bruges, Gene Hackman was one of his favorite stars. He hopes that people will remember him for how he lived, not how he died. Dude, if you think evidence will help you win this case, you've already lost it. Certain parts of his life feel like they would make great scenes in a Hollywood movie someday. Who do you think would play Gene Hackman? Could. The award goes to Gene Hackman for his role in Unforgiven. Hackman won 2 Oscars and was in 80 movies over the course of 40 years. He brought a simmering passion to his parts. Well, I don't need much. Even the funny ones, I really like homes that are right on the beach. Aussie, what do you want, you know? It's such a loss. Gene Hackman was a great actor who played famous parts that defined American cinema for 40 years. This was especially true during the time when American cinema really came alive and became modern. But his death was so out of the blue that it's still hard to picture. Is there an emergency? I believe we found 2 or 3 dead bodies inside the house. Do they move at all? No, dude, they're not moving. Please send someone up here right away. Since the Hackmans hadn't been heard from in over 2 weeks, it was their upset helper who made the shocking find. Everyone is like him, you know. I thought all of a sudden that both of them were dead. Sorry, bro. There was medicine all over Betsy, who was partly frozen and lying on the bathroom floor. Gene had passed out near the front door with his cane and sunglasses next to him. Investigators were suspicious right away after seeing the scene. It's not normal to find two dead bodies in the house. That's a bit worrying. A dog that was in a kennel was also found dead. Their Australian Kelpie mix, Xena, was found dead in her box. It was later found that she had died of being hungry and thirsty, but the rumors spread like wildfire. What were some of the ideas that people had about what had happened to them in the days after the first stories came out? I think there were worries that this might have been a murder-suicide case, and we were really waiting for the cops and other experts to explain it. It has a gas smell. Do you smell gas? It smells like gas. Since they both went down, there was a gas leak. It's not on, but you can smell it. Since several people died in the same house, there was some thought or fear that someone had poisoned them. Yeah. What I thought was so sad about this was how mysterious the circumstances of his death were. You also did not want your mind to get too wild. You could only hope that it was the kindest part of what we were hearing. Doug Lamb, a close friend of the couple, couldn't stand the speculation. I find it hard to talk about. As you might expect, everyone is guessing. You know, this could have happened. Let's just remember them for who they are. The world didn't know that Gene had advanced Alzheimer's and that Betsy had been his only caregiver. The news that Betsy had died a week before Gene may have been the most painful and shocking of all. How many days had passed since the last time you talked? 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks, and they don't really see them. They don't. No one really sees them besides texts on the phone. They keep to themselves a lot. For Gene's friend Tom Allen, the death of Betsy, who was his guardian and lifeline, turned this puzzle into an unimaginable disaster. I just don't think it's possible. What happened there last week? Had a virus killed Miss Betsy Hackman, who was 65 years old. Making their deaths even stranger was the fact that Betsy died of something she didn't expect. Her body got hantavirus from rat droppings, pee, and saliva. It is a rare but often fatal disease. In its worst forms, it looks like the flu and can cause sudden heart failure. Reading about it was hard because it's death at some point. I mean, she needed care 4 or 5 days ago right away in an emergency, but she didn't know what was going on. High blood pressure and fatty cardiovascular disease killed Mr. Gene Hackman, who was 95 years old. Alzheimer's disease played a big role in the death as well. Gene died of his bad heart and Alzheimer's disease a week after Betsy. He was unable to take care of himself. When I think about it, Betsy really did take on a lot of responsibility by taking care of everyone. She also didn't have anyone taking care of her, but she never asked for help. It was never her words, "I need help." I mean, I wish I had been there right away. I mean, I felt so bad about it that we should have helped them if we could have. Thus, what took place during Gene Hackman's last week? You're about to see that he was never more alone than when Betsy left. It makes you fall to your knees. For the last 20 years of his life, Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico, away from the attention of the movie industry. They loved art, music, their dogs, and close friends like Tom Allen and Doug Lamb. How did Gene seem? I thought he was a joker. A big goal was written on my back. He loves making fun of me, too. He acts like a child. He looks like a child. They showed what a couple that cares about each other should be like. Also, I believe they gained a lot from life, and it's clear that those memories make you very happy and joyful. They really do. As I say, I feel so lucky to have had that chance, and I sometimes pinch myself to remember that we could have that kind of friendship. But for us, it was something we had with Gene and Betsy. Not a movie star, that is. But, the couple kept in touch with family and friends and didn't go too far from home. Few people knew how hard it was for them because Gene's Alzheimer's took away both his memory and his freedom. Betsy took care of Gene the whole time they were married, and I know she looked out for him. She did everything she could to take care of him. She probably wouldn't have wanted anyone in the house. He would have been very upset if she had sent him to a hospice. That's why she did everything herself. It's hard to imagine what happened no one saw coming, that Betsy, who was 65 years old, would die first, leaving Gene, who was 95, all by himself. But she did. Was it certain that Gene Hackman's life was over when Betsy died so quickly and shockingly? It seems like Betsy was the one who kept him at home, did all of his thinking for him, and pushed him to do all of his daily tasks. He would not have been able to live without her. Certainly not. Professor Susan Curl, one of Australia's top experts on Alzheimer's and memory care, says Gene Hackman's death is one of the saddest things about Alzheimer's because the disease makes people so useless. At least he could do some things by himself. But it was clear that he couldn't eat, take care of the dog Betsy himself, or take care of himself. In other words, they couldn't even call for help, leave the house, or go to the neighbors. If you think of dementia as going backwards in childhood, Gene Hackman was probably about 12 months old. He had to get help with everything. That's also what Betsy did. What happened in that house for a week after Betsy died is what scares a lot of people. How would Gene have spent his time? Many people don't think Gene would have known that she was dead. He most likely thought she was asleep, and he may have just left, gone somewhere else, and then come back. He goes back to her. He sees her again, but he doesn't remember her. It's difficult to know how upset Gene was when his beloved Betsy died, but it's hoped that his illness kept him from feeling the worst. Is there some comfort in the thought that he might not have been able to go through pain or sadness because he lost his memory? That's one of the good things about dementia, and there aren't many. But because his memory was so bad, it's more likely that he just walked around. Betsy was taking care of him by herself, so she had to know about the risks. His life was in her hands. It was clear that she hadn't planned that far ahead. It looks like she was a lot younger than he was. She was healthy and fit until she got the cancer that killed her. That's not likely what she was thinking. Besides that, I believe she didn't want other people to see how Gene had lost his role and turned into a man. I believe she was keeping him safe from that. You have no idea what she was going through while she was there for Gene until the end. We get why you're so mad. Your friend Gene Hackman ran at life and grabbed it with both hands. It must be hard for you to think about him, to understand that he was so weak in his last days that he couldn't leave the house or get help. It makes you fall to your knees. Gene Hackman was a giant in our town who died. Gene said all the time, "I don't think about it. I just want people to remember me as someone who tried their best." People will remember that and a lot more about you. It's really, really tough. Anyway, I also think about the wonderful life he lived for 95 years and the happiness he shared with Betsy, especially these last 25 years. He had a really great life. The big screen gave us a look at that beautiful life, but Gene Hackman was more than just a great actor to his friends in Santa Fe. He was also their best friend and will always be missed, along with his wife, Betsy. And that's what they want to remember, not how they died. Your sadness shows how much you cared about these people. Thanks for letting us know about it. Thanks, we got lucky. Lucky you. Also, it was just a good time. Having fun, lots of stories. You just walk away thinking, what a character. Wow, what a person. He's really a great person. Listen to Extra Minutes. So many people around the world have died in the same way as Gene Hackman. What can we learn from his death? 1 in 3 people over the age of 85 will be identified with Alzheimer's or dementia. 1 in 2 by the time you're 90. It is amazing. You can now get Extra Minutes on all of your favorite radio apps.